The All Things Motoring team now has a brand new podcast. If you're looking to know more about car finance, insurance, or servicing, or if you're deciding whether to keep it or change cars, you'll find all the advice you need. Available now on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
This week, we sit down and chat to Brad Kaftel, founder of Hatfield Motor Group, about the brand, the man, and the motor trade in general.
As someone who grew up in the 1980s and started in the motor trade in 1991, when I think of motor dealerships of that period, names like Dan Perkins, Arnold Chatz and Pat Hind are names that come to mind. I've always maintained that buyers relate to people and not corporates. Today I'm sitting with Brad Kaftel of the Hatfield Motor Group, a group that I believe takes customer service like no other. Brad, lovely to chat to you.
Hello, Mark. Good to be here.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. The group founded in 1998 by yourself, a short 25 years ago.
That's all.
It's amazing. When you think of 25 years, in the old days, we'd say that was a quarter of a century. Does 1998 feel like yesterday to you?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. You know,
The positives, it feels like yesterday, but the hardships, long time.
I think life's like that. I think you look back 25 years. Some things feel like 5 years ago, and some things do feel like 25 years ago. But it's been fun.
Of course,
I've had a good time.
Now, before you started the group, where did you serve your apprenticeship?
I worked for another group. I worked for a company in the motor industry.
Yeah, you can say the name. Share it with us.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to advertise my competition here, but yeah, I worked for the Saficon,
right?
Saficon Investments, and they had various dealership interests, Cargo Motors, Lindsay, so I worked for them for 11 years. Learned a little bit,
of course,
and then managed to get this franchise in Pretoria and had a go. That's it. It's as easy as that.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. The first franchise was in Hatfield in Pretoria?
Yeah.
A VW dealership?
Yeah.
And what was it that appealed to you about the VW brand at the time?
Well, I'd been in, there was a VW brand at that stage. When we started looking at this, I'd been with the VW brand for 10 years.
Right.
So, you know, passionately VW at that stage, still am, and also we were also with the Audi brand at that stage. You know, it was joint.
Right.
It was under
joined at the hips.
Yeah, under one roof at the time, and so worked. I sort of developed a reputation within VW Audi, and I was at that crossroads where I was either going to stay within the Imperial Group at the time, and that was going to be me. That was where I was going to try and get as high up as possible.
Rise up the corporate ladder. Or
that was one option, and then the other option was to go on your own. You know, so.
Well, when you look at the group today, started off with one dealership in 1998. They're just on 40 dealerships across Gauteng and KZN. That is massive growth in a 25-year period. Where to from here? 40 dealerships. What are the brands within the stable?
There's a few. There's quite a few now. So we were a Volkswagen Audi business for a long time.
Right.
And that's still our primary brands. Profitability-wise, we do very well with Volkswagen and Audi, and then we bought the Fury business 2 years ago, and then we acquired a lot of brands within them, including Ford, Mazda, Haval, Suzuki, Isuzu, Renault. We've got one Renault dealership, Omoda. We've got a Chery dealership now. We're going to be opening a BYD franchise in Johannesburg.
So a couple of points to touch on there. The Fury Motor Group was also a well-known, well-established, reputable business. Now falls under your stable. Mazda and Ford, I wouldn't say flavor of the month as such, but excellent brand, but massive room for growth, particularly on the Mazda product.
Yeah, look, Mazda, Ford is an exceptional brand. The Ford Ranger is a top brand, loved in this country.
You'd swear that vehicle could win Car of the Year.
Exactly. So, I mean, Ford, a very strong brand. Mazda done exceptionally well pre-COVID. It's been a bit tougher for Mazda in the last few years, but I think they'll bounce back. Very good brand, well respected, been in this country a long time, big car park, and they're very good people to do business with. So I do think they'll bounce back. We're also growing with Haval.
Yeah.
We've got 4 Haval dealerships. We're looking at maybe another one here and there, but also been in the country 15 years. And and they have come of age on some really fantastic product. And
Now, I indicated
well,
I started in the Motortrade in 1991. In the late 1990s, 2000, if you had spoken about a Chinese product, it would have been a swear word.
Yeah.
The Japanese products were superb. The Korean products were coming on stream. But where the Chinese products have gone, it is absolutely exceptional. Now,
and it's been quick.
it has been quick.
Yeah, has
but
been.
what I always say, your success or your failure is always deserved. I look at Cherry, I look at Avel. Their success is deserved. It's a product that looks good, it's a product that drives good, and the backup is there.
Yes.
Your feeling regarding ICE engines, and why I'm asking about that, you spoke about BYD. BYD don't make petrol and they don't make diesel. Tell us about BYD.
So I think look, the electric age is coming. I think there's no
Whether we like it or not.
It's 100% coming. I think it'll be slower in Africa than it'll be in Europe. The US, I think, also could be slower, but I think Europe will lead the race. China and Europe will lead the race in terms of conversion to electric cars. I think it'll happen, but in South Africa, but it's probably a 10, 15-year period where you're going to see this move. It'll be gradual.
Of course.
It will gain momentum, but there are savings and there are some really good product coming from various manufacturers.
Now, a lot of the manufacturers have said they're going to phase out the ICE engine by 2030. My personal opinion, that's going to be stretched out. It cannot happen.
Yeah, I think the premium brands may. Premium brands, it's smaller volumes and they may do that, but I think some of the volume brands, I think that may get stretched a little bit because they obviously have to generate their revenue and they can't just give it up too easily. Of
course.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It'll be different in different parts of the world. So you'll have a different situation in Africa or South Africa versus Australia or Europe or China or Japan or the US. It'll be different. South America. So, and the development is different, from continent to continent. So it will differ, but I'm driving an electric Audi e-tron, unbelievable car.
No, but underpowered, but I'm joking with you. That thing is stonking. You take the most powerful turbocharged petrol engine that you've ever driven. You get in the e-tron.
300 kilowatt.
And it's instant.
Explosive. It's explosive. The finish in the car is incredible. I'm on my second one. I've drove one for a year and I'm on the second one and I don't think I'm going back to an ICE, to be honest. I mean, I'm enjoying it too much. So it's charge it at home, get home, plug it in. Next day you got 350 kilometers.
Of course.
I've taken my ABSA petrol card and chucked it in the drawer. Haven't used it for a long time now, over probably 15, 16 months, and haven't used it. So I think that will be a potential saving. And I think that the ranges will grow as we go.
Of course.
And the charging will be quicker as we go. We've seen that. We know how technology changes. But it's coming, 100%.
But Brad, back to the Hatfield Motor Group. We have got the pleasure of having all the Hatfield Motor dealers on the CHANGECARS website. If I say to you, without exception, the feedback we get from the customers is absolutely positive. You are based in Gauteng predominantly and KZN. Is there a look to grow to the other provinces?
If something comes, I mean, we're looking at something in the Cape, just one to start. And look, I think if you look at some of the other top groups, they are limited to those three provinces.
Correct.
The three business hubs. And I think we'd like to grow a little bit in the Cape. I think we've seen with our interest in KZN, and it was always a challenge. We bought this Fury business. There were 5 dealerships in KZN. Are we good enough to manage businesses in KZN if we're based in Gauteng? Or can we do it? Yes or no? I think we can. So I think we've proven that we can, and we're actually running those businesses quite well. So I think we can take on a few dealerships in the Cape. I think Gauteng will always be our home.
Of course.
Johannesburg, Pretoria, it's the business hub of the country. And, we live here, we're born here, we kind of know this area inside out.
You love the sea views in Gauteng.
We love it. We love Gauteng. And, we haven't quite got a sea view, but we do that in December. But, I think that there's always great opportunities. Yeah, and we understand the market. The market is quite demanding, and then we have to deliver.
But that is a market in which you thrive. If it was an easy environment, everybody would just be able to give slack service and get away with it.
Yeah.
That is why you are thriving.
So I think, look, you're right. I think we push very hard, to be the best in service. So that isn't easy. You have to continuously work on that and strive to achieve that. It has to be what you want to achieve. And I have seen that age has moved a little bit. So customer service as being the overriding critical factor was very big 10 years ago, but not as big across the industry. But we haven't adopted that. We still believe that if we give the best service, we'll have sustainability, because people want to buy from us, want to buy from the Hatfield Motor Group. So we still push that extremely hard with our people, and we'll continue to do that. It's worked for us over the years, and to take your point, you're right. We are in a very tough economic environment. We've seen our markets drop, and we've seen stock flowing into the country across all brands. It's not easy, but you're right. Ultimately, anyone can run any business in good times.
Of course.
We've seen that. People flock into businesses and off they go, and life's good. And then when things do get tough, and markets, the market drops and sales drop, then the real ability of your managers comes out. Can they deliver in difficult times, or at least maybe deliver less, but deliver a reasonable result? So we are in difficult times. I mean, you've got interest rates that are 20% higher than what they were pre-COVID, in rand terms. Maybe it's only 2%, but it's 2% on 9.75 is almost 20% up in rand terms.
Sure.
So 20% on one cost line when sales are dropping can be quite a big number, and it's quite a big expense line in our business. And when interest rates go up, people buy less. That's why the Reserve Bank has pushed interest rates up. It's to dampen demand. It's not to stimulate demand, I can assure you. So it is a tough environment, but look, we've done tough before.
So, Brad, something interesting. I was reading a car magazine last night, March 1985, and it's like the preface, like the editor's note. And they're talking about, I had to smile. They were talking about the inflation in the country and the weakening rand. So this is March 1985. The rand dollar was under 2 rand to the dollar. And the petrol price, what they said, had gone up 473% since 1973. So we all know about the fuel crisis of 1973 when there was war in the Middle East, but for the petrol price to have gone up 473%, by my best calculation, that's gone like from 20 cents to like 1 rand 10. That was, or a little bit under 1 rand. But it is crazy. What would we give to have a rand dollar exchange rate of under 2 today? Can you imagine what we'd be doing in this market?
Yeah, we'd be doing really well with that.
Hey?
But yeah, look, I think our rand is depreciated, obviously, because of the inflation differential between us and our major trading partners. So that hasn't made us poorer, actually, because inflation has balanced that. But
very interesting take, and that is true.
But we have the rand is depreciated by more than that. So we are poorer, and there's no question. And that's down to economic policies and economic prosperity. We haven't quite got that right in the last 10 years.
Top of your head, just let's see, spot question. 1994, in April 94, do you recall what the rand dollar exchange rate was?
No, I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue.
3 rand 40.
I saw that. It's 3 rand 40.
And we were complaining how the rand is going down. 18, 19 rand now, bring back the 1994. Something else, a little old story. When did you first see a Mead and McGregor dealer's guidebook? Do you remember the dealer's guidebook?
87.
Okay. How big if you recall, how thick was that book?
No, it wasn't that thick.
It was the thickness of a cell phone. You would look at BMW, and I promise you, I'm not wrong. There were 3 models: BMW 3, BMW 5,
and 7.
BMW 7. Correct. You'd go to Toyota. You'd have your Corolla, you'd have your Conquest, and your Cressida, and I can't think if there was any other one, but it was like 60 pages. Today, when you look at the VW section, it's more than what those were.
Yeah, look, that's the competitive forces. So you've got a lot of brands and a lot of models, and it has made look, it's been great for the customer. Customer's got a range of choice.
Of course.
And it does keep prices in check, and your service has to be there, and there's a range of what people can buy. So if you're not top of your game,
course.
you'll fall out. So I think for the customer, that's been great. I mean, there was, I think, 7 brands in the country at that point.
100%.
And today,
100%.
sure.
You didn't have Alfa Romeo, you didn't have Renault, you didn't have any of the French brands who pulled out due to apartheid, but you literally had the major manufacturers at the time: Nissan, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, and
Ford,
yeah.
Volkswagen.
But there were 6 or 7 brands. Incredible. Brad Kaftel, the man. Are you a car man, or are you in the car industry? Do you collect cars? What turns you on about cars?
No, I'm a businessman. I wouldn't say I'm a car man.
So your private collection under 300 vehicles?
No. I love sport. I love football. We owned Highlands Park. We played in the PSL and took their team from the 4th tier to the PSL. I love sport. We watch a lot of sport. We travel to watch a lot of sport. I ran 16 comrades. I love running. I'm a bit old for that now. But
Brad hasn't heard me say this, but my theory, they always say no pain.
No gain, sure.
My theory is no pain, no pain. 16 comrades, that's like 1,500 kilometers. If I did 1,500 kilometers on a scooter, Brad, I'd be tired.
You don't realize when you run comrades, at that sort of, at the pace we were trying to run it, which is quite quick, you do about 3,500 k's of training per annum.
3,500
per annum.
That's like 300 kilos a month.
Yeah, and there are a couple of months where you don't do much. So it does rise to 400, 450 in the peak months. So I'd say yes, about 3,5. And if you do that for I think I ran 16 comps, so times 16 times 3.5 gives you an idea. It's a lot of mileage.
That's incredible.
But my passion is business. I love business. We've got a property company. We own a lot of our properties. I love business. I'm fascinated by how this dealership business works. It is fascinating. There's multiple businesses under one roof in this dealership environment. You have a new car business, you have a pre-owned business, you have a service business, you have a parts business, you have a business that places funding, you've got enormous compliance.
But just touching on the car business itself, you come to a new car dealership, exactly what Brad has just said. You've got a new car dealership and you've got a used car. And both of those support the other 2 divisions. I sell a new car or used car, we hope you bring it back to Hatfield Motor Group for servicing. What kind of business do you do outside of the 2 provinces you operate? So do you have a lot of clients from the Western Cape buying from you in Joburg?
No, I don't think necessarily from that far away, but you do get a lot of clients from the surrounding provinces coming to buy.
Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Free State.
Northwest, yes. It's close. For someone to get in their car in Polokwane, 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, they're at your Hatfield dealer in Pretoria. So they have more choice, maybe more aggressive. So you do get a lot of customers from out of province, but neighbouring provinces. You would get less from Durban, less from the Cape, less from the Eastern Cape. It's far. I'm not saying you won't deliver there, you will.
Of course.
But it's far.
Cool.
But to deliver a car to Mpumalanga or Polokwane is close. So you do get customers find you.
Of course.
We're not actively trying to market into Polokwane, for example, or into Nelspruit.
But they do find you.
But if the customer finds you, and they're happy to come and take delivery in Pretoria or in Johannesburg, well, customer's king. Then yes, you will obviously do your best for them. Sure.
But I've often said, if you are a company in any facet, whether it be food, whether it be clothing, the best advertising that you can do is not on a billboard, is not on radio, it's word of mouth.
100%.
Customer attention for you, without stating the obvious. I mean, everybody will talk the talk, of course, customer attention. How important is customer attention for the Hatfield Group, and what is the focus to achieving that?
It's critical, Mark. I mean, if you get cut. I just got a call a few minutes ago. I literally got a call 5 minutes ago from, I won't mention the name, someone who said to me, bought an Audi. I helped him out 10 years ago. Okay? He said he traded his Audi in 5 years ago for a Mercedes. This is a real life story. He just spoke to it.
Brilliant.
He said, but his motor plan's now finishing and he wants an Audi Q5. He's come back to me, even though in between he went away. He's come back. And I actually have his number saved, so I knew who it was when he called. I haven't spoken to him for 10 years, so he's remembered me, I've remembered him, and he wants to buy another Audi. So That's because you looked after him in that 5-year period. Not only when you sold the car, but in the next 5 years when he needed, servicing and maintenance, you obviously looked after him, and he obviously valued that. And now here he is again. So.
And that is why I mentioned people relate to people.
Yeah.
Here's a gentleman, Brad. I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you. Well done on that.
Yeah, so you get that. So I mean, if you don't retain your customers and you're just chasing new customers every month, sure, that's odd. You've got to have some retention, and it's not only for the group; it's for your individual people. So your really good salespeople that give fantastic service, they will get their customers coming back to them, and they will build up that reputation, and their customers will follow them. So it's critical.
So it's interesting talking about that. I've always had a saying that there's no such thing as a good salesperson. A good salesperson is selling a bad product. A good product essentially sells itself, but a salesman that does his job, and his job is looking after the customer, keeping his word, following up, etc. For me, that is what I consider a good salesman.
Yeah.
Not a person who can put me into a 1600 when I wanted a 1300, or tell me to take extra VAPs that I didn't want.
No, they must assess your needs and deliver, on what you need and what's good for you, and give you the best possible price they can at the time. That's what they got to fulfill your needs, and you must drive away feeling that you'll go back. And if you do, and not only will you go back, but you'll refer your friends and family to that same person, if they want to buy that product. So, and then you'll find the best salespeople build up a customer base over time, and they'll sell, without trying, they'll sell 5 cars a month. The balance will come maybe from new customers, but a lot of your top salespeople literally have a following, and they've earned that following. That doesn't come easily. They've earned that. They deserve that. So they are critical people in your business, no doubt about it.
So Brad, you've seen I'm a fan of the brand. If I asked you to share with our viewers a simple sum up of what Hatfield Motor Group stands for, what would it be?
So I think primary we stand for customer service. I mean that's who we are. I can't say that every single customer interaction at every single dealership
You're human.
Is going to be 100% perfect, but we must strive to get it 100% perfect. There will be customers that are not happy for whatever reason. It could be a product related. It could be anything for that matter. But we have to just continue working at that. And I would say if you had to say, well, rate yourself, I'd say we're probably in the 90s in terms of service delivery, but we're not at 100, and we have to just keep trying to get better and trying to get to 100. I'd say that's really who we are. That's our key differentiator. That is what we stand for, and we will continue to work harder and harder to get better. And you will never be the perfect animal. There's always room for improvement. So I think that's our key. Other than that, we offer now, we've got 15 brands that we work with. So we have quite a lot of brands that we can offer to customers.
In 25 years, people look back and say, remember they said there were 7 brands and now there's 25. Wow, now we have 60 brands in South Africa. That's actually my biggest wish, that our country continues to grow and we attract major brands.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it will. So I think that, look, South Africa is an amazing country. Love South Africa. Love the people.
Of course.
I think the South African story is inspirational. You've got people from different backgrounds, different colors, different religions, and we all seem to gel and get along. So, I found with our football team, we went to diverse areas of the country and we were always so warmly received. We were treated so well. And so that's one of the reasons I love South Africa, because I do find that we've done from our past to where we are today. There's so much improvement. It's such a better life that we lead in terms of our freedom and in terms of the way we get along. It's amazing. So I love South Africa. I'm very positive about the country.
You give me goosebumps when you talk like that, because I've often said, and I say it with no arrogance, I am in South Africa by choice. Truly
100%.
by choice. And many of us are here by choice. So Brad, you are proudly South African. Hatfield Motor Group is a proudly South African group. Ownership of the group, it's not just yourself.
No. So I'm partners with the Mtimunye family, and we've been partners for 20 years.
Wow.
I mean, Joe Mtimunye and I, we actually, it's a great story, because we actually met on the road running comrades. So we
Who needed help? Be honest. Did
we were
you
similar.
carry him, or did you?
No, similar. Very similar in ability. So that, you see, when you run races. Some races you run hard, some you run easy, some are training runs. So I would find that, You know, Joe ran for JP, I ran for Bedford View, but the clubs are very close. Almost sister clubs, very close together. And you know, get on the road, and there would be Joe, and we'd start chatting, and we had lots of similarities. We lived.
You had lots of similarities, and you had lots of time to chat.
Yes,
you had like 88 k's to go.
Yeah, and we just, you know, we got really close. You know, we both supported Man United. We loved football. We had kids at school, and you know, we were in business. So we had we built up a friendship. White guy, black guy, we built up this friendship.
Beautiful.
And then that was it. We just kind of friends, running friends. And I mean, he's a chartered accountant. I've got an MBA degree. So we very similar in our mindset, in our abilities, and in our running ability. So we always found ourselves running together. And then we had an opportunity in the one dealership, and I approached Joe and said, well, do you want to buy in? And Joe borrowed the money, and he bought into the one, and then you know, and then it went from there, and we grew to 2 or 3, and then he brought into the original one, and
beautiful.
And then Joe and his wife, or Khomotso, our partners, and we've been together for 20 years, and very proud that we're a triple BW rated one, you know, and that people don't know what goes into that, but it's not just ownership.
But again, it's something that's not just spoken. It's a belief.
No.
It's an ethos.
Yeah, so it's not just ownership. There's considerable investment in upliftment of the communities. But very proud of that, and very proud of our partnership. You know, we've been together 20 years, and we're best friends, to be honest.
Brad, your positivity shines through. You have built up a brand. You've seen us sing your praises. I will continue to sing the praises of the Hatfield Motor Group, and I will continue to sing the praises of this incredible motor group. To you and your team, may you go from strength to strength.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for the opportunity to spend time with you today.
Pleasure. Anytime. Thanks very much.
The All Things Motoring team now has a brand new podcast. If you're looking to know more about car finance, insurance, or servicing, or if you're deciding whether to keep it or change cars, you'll find all the advice you need. Available now on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.